Remember the magic? Heavy metal. Legislate. Power King. The Conglomerate. Who will make the magic in 2017? What colors your magic?
And of course, Wilgersdorf, Mary and Jessica, well done to them for everything they've done for racing too. Great contributors to the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Taken over the legacy of the Oppenheimers.
Yes.
Absolutely, that's Jessica. And Mary has just been such a strong person in the breeding and the racing game for the Mark de Kock yard and many other stables as well. So great to have them still in the game and making it really worthwhile.
Yeah, you realise their strength when these big races come along. They've always got runners, and that's wonderful. Just have a look at the track, Kevin. You can see the path that Nightingale's making. Maybe just a little bit of dew on the ground.
Definitely a little bit of dew on the ground. A little bit chilly this morning, but you can see there the dew is definitely on the ground, which very nice for the track. You know, as the sun comes out, this is what makes our grass grow. The nice little dew in the morning and a nice sunshine in the afternoon.
Yeah, here we're going down towards the 1600. Nightingale, as I say, look at her with the ears pricked, is going to work from the 1600. The commentators will call them through. I think Sheldon and Craig will be going through all of the runners here. Don't forget, later in the day we will be showing you the Gallop from Gauteng, where we had Safe Harbor working with El Sahim. Two very good horses.
Yeah, two fancied horses, I think. Well, I think El Sahim is a very big runner in the race, but I think they'll have the footage. Maybe if there's time afterwards, they will show the Gallop. I'm sure they're not going to be doing too much because the horses have been racing and are quite fit, but at least we'll have to be able to see their well-being.
Yeah, that's right. So any moment now, Anthony will be down at the 16. You can see him taking it nice and quietly. And she looks well. She's a good filly in her own right, Kevin.
She is. She ran a very good race last time. She came from quite a way back to run second. And you can see the crowd on the stands now actually starting to get themselves ready for the first Gallop.
Yeah, that's right. They're starting to come in. And you know, there's the stragglers, the famous hot coffee and buns, and the analysts are here. People are analysing who's going to win. Have a look at their horses and try and get an opinion of which horse they think has done well. And over the years, we've been party to some good companions, Kev, that run on the day.
Yeah, unfortunately today, Lef, there aren't that many companions with horses, but it is always interesting to see what horses were galloping with the July horses and really gives you an indicator. But you can see Anthony now, he's got virtually to his point now. He'll be pulling up his stirrups, getting everything in order. And I mean, just look at that filly, Lef, she's really just taking everything in her stride. She knows she's raced here, she's been here before, but ears are still pricked, having a good look around. Anthony just preparing her. But I mean, that's a dream horse for a jockey in the July. She's really giving no problems at all.
Kev, Anthony's won about 3 or 4. I think him and Marcus got about 8 between them.
I think he's 4. Anthony's on 4. He's been very fortunate in the July, but this is when the big guns come to the fore. That is the July. The July day. You got to not panic. You got to just take it in your stride and just ride it like a normal race. I know it's a big race, and you got to make a few other quicker decisions, but it is just a race, and you've got to ride it accordingly.
Yeah. Well, I think we should go up to the commentator. Anthony's starting to gather himself. Let's go on upstairs to Craig.
Thanks very much, Paul and Kevin. And our first filly that is going to gallop is number 10, and that is Nightingale. And Nightingale, Anthony Delpesh, they'll jump off on the turf from the 1600. You can see a lovely cushion of turf of where Nightingale is walking. She's really up on her toes this nice crisp morning. Nightingale is currently on offer 14-1 for the Vodacom Durban July. Anthony still feet out the irons. We're going to give you times from the 800 to the finish and 400 meters to the finish. Of course, Anthony Delpesh, he's going for his 5th Vodacom Durban July win. He won it on Classic Flag. He then won it on Igugu and Bold Silvano, and he also won on Gray's Inn. So Anthony just talking about what route he's going to take on Nightingale. Nightingale is drawn at gate number 6 on the big day for the Vodacom Durban July. Last time out was beaten by that top filly Just Sensual in the Tibashina Stakes here at Greyville. And Nightingale, she has won 4 from her 16. 4 from 16. Look at that, very, very nicely and calm now. and she's accepting the bit. And Anthony's not just ready at this stage, but just repeating again that on the big day, and here's your second gallop. This is Brazooka. Brazooka will be the second gallop with Donovan Mansour, and Brazooka will also work with no companion from the 1300 on the turf. So this is Brazooka that is in picture at the moment, as Nightingale just waits behind the drill hall to get her action underway for the gallops for the Vodacom Durban July. So just repeating that pick six pool, a guaranteed 10 million rand, which starts off in race 4 on the Vodacom Durban July, expected to get 11 million plus on the Vodacom Durban July day, and then that quartet for the Vodacom Durban July, that is also expected to get to close to 15 million rand. And then of course we've got the jackpot, we've got a place accumulator, we've got a buy pot, and we've got 6 places to be for the tote on the Vodacom Durban July. Let's go down to Paul and Kevin.
Thanks very much, Craig. We're just touching on Brazooka, having a look out there. Great for Lawrence Vernon and his son. You know, he's put a lot into the game. He hasn't owned a Group 1 winner yet, and this horse has been runner-up in 2 Group 1s at least.
Yeah.
He's a good horse in his day, Kev.
Yeah, Laffy is a very good horse, and unfortunately he's drawn the widest of widest, but I think we're going to go up to Craig. I think Nightingale's going to be jumping away.
All right, so Nightingale, she's on her way. Nightingale, she jumped off from the 1600 Lonesome, and she's a 4-year-old, and going around those stalls. Anthony's sitting motionless. She's going a nice, relaxed pace at this stage. Leading with her right leg at this stage is Nightingale. She's a daughter of Silvano, Candace Bass Robinson. Anthony just must be very content at this stage. There, she just changed legs. Did Nightingale. And of course, Silvano sired Bold Silvano, sired Heavy Metal, and sired Power King. So he knows how to win the Vodacom Durban July, does the sire Silvano. And yeah, we have the filly Nightingale. So here's the side view, just loping along with a nice, easy action, nice and relaxed. As they get to the 600, keeping very much to the outside of the track, that's where the dolls are, and then gets to the 500, about to take the turn into the entrance to the straight, and you can see Anthony still sitting motionless on Nightingale. She's now getting to the 400, where we'll give you a first time. She just gets one flick down the neck, and he sits again on Nightingale. So here's Nightingale stretching out very, very nicely. Anthony keeping her together. Nothing else required, just showing around the gravel track. And she's stretching out very, very nicely. So here's Nightingale. As I say, on offer at 14-1 to win the Vodacom Durban July, the daughter of Silvano. And then she just accepts once again. Anthony asks her now to just relax. And she really accepted very well, Nightingale. And the daughter of Silvano, when Anthony comes back, there we go. Just look at that action. She's throwing her front legs out very nicely under a nice rein and not asked anything at all. Just got one flick down the neck. Her ears are cocking back and forth. And she's really enjoying her early morning gallop here at Gravel for the Vodacom Durban July. And that is Nightingale and Anthony Delpech. Anthony rides her. Let's look at it from the head-on shot. And yeah, just look at this. Anthony, he's not even clicking to her. He's just keeping very still on her. He gave her just the one flick before they turned for home. And I'm sure that Anthony himself and Candace, they'll be most thrilled with the gallop of Nightingale. I already have the time, so I'm going to go through these times from the 800 meters to the finish. 800 meters to the finish, 51.84. 51.84, and the last 400 meters for Nightingale was at 26.48. From the 400 to finish, 26.48. Right, let's hear what Paul and Kevin have to say.
Thanks, Craig. Well summed up. That was good to see how the horse moved well. Kev, I was impressed with that work.
Yeah, listen, Craig said it all, as you saw it in the slow motion. She got a beautiful action. She was very relaxed. Her ears were just pricked. Yeah, they must be very happy with that. She's just a lovely filly, and I think Anthony and Candace should be very happy.
Right, Brazooka is going to be the next one to go. Very good Australian horse, this, and as we spoke earlier, Kevin and I, about the winners. And I'm looking for the day that Lawrence has a Group 1 winner, because he's really a passionate race goer and a good racing man. Gavin Arena back in town?
Yeah, Gav, I see he had a winner yesterday in Newcastle or somewhere it was. Yeah, Gav coming back to ride it. They always come back to the July. Yeah, Lef, the winner's a great guy. Unfortunately, as we said earlier, drawn a little bit badly, but Donovan Mansour's on the track. Let's go up to Craig. I'm sure this horse is just about ready to jump away.
Yes, Brazooka will jump off from the 1300 metre with no companion, and it's Donovan Mansour. Donovan Mansour is in the irons on this occasion. Brazooka on the big day will be ridden by Gavin Lorena. And here's Brazooka. Head a little bit sideways, son of Teofilio. One of the best ever boxers was the Cuban, Teofilio Stevenson. He wasn't allowed in Cuba. The boxers are not allowed to turn professional. They were rating him in the class of the great Muhammad Ali. But anyway, here's Brazooka, the 4-year-old son of Teofilio. Big race rider will be Gavin Lorena. It's Donovan Mansour on this occasion, Johan Janse van Vieren. This is a 5-time winner from the 16 outings. Head up, very much alert, is Brazooka. And Donovan just taking 3 spaces at a nice, easy pace. But you'll see that Donovan is getting a little bit of a pull there. You'll see Brazooka wants to get on with things. He's nodding up and down in the saddle, is Donovan. From the side view now, look at his ears as he comes towards the 600-metre marker. And Brazooka is also looking very good as he comes into the home stretch. And Brazooka now turns into the home stretch as one of the outsiders at 40-1. A 40-1 shot is Brazooka at the 400-metre marker with the noseband. Now still sitting quietly is Donovan Mansour on Brazooka. Now he's just letting a bit of the rain out and just asking Brazooka just to stretch ever so slightly. Also very nice action. He's getting a little bit lower into the saddle, and here comes Brazooka. Stretching out very nicely. A couple of niggles towards the end, but nothing wrong with that gallop at the business end. And it's Brazooka, their 4-year-old. Gavin Lorena will ride on the big day. This is Donovan Mansour in the irons. Of course, Gavin Lorena, former South African champion jockey. He'll fly in for the big day to ride Brazooka. Unfortunately, well, maybe not unfortunately, has drawn 20 out of 20. We'll have to just see what happens with the reserve runners. Of course, we've had over the years the Dynasties, the Flaming Rock, and the Conglomerate overcoming those wide draws. And just look at this. Here's Brazooka. You'll see Donovan, he just got a little bit lower and crouching into the saddle at about the 300-metre marker. And he just asked for 1 or 2 clicks here and says, let's just stretch it out a little bit, boy. And here's Brazooka stretching out very nicely. And there's nothing wrong with that gallop. He's throwing those legs out as well. And our first 2 gallops, I'll tell you what, they're both faultless at this time. Here's the head on to show us a little bit more. You'll see Donovan at this stage a little bit higher up in the irons. And there we go. Gets down just a little bit lower and says, just stretch out a little bit, boy. And there goes Brazooka. Now, to give you those times, the 800 metre to finish. 800 metre to finish is 50,38. 50,38. And the last 400 metres, 22,89. 22,89. Let's go down to Paul and Kevin.
Well, thanks very much, Craig. Craig being a former pugilist, nice to see your reference to Teofilio Stevenson. Not many people knew that. Craig, not many guys know Craig has been a serious boxer in his day.
Yeah, no, Craig's been there.
He's a Stelica.
He's an old Stelica from the south. I think Craig comes from the south in Joburg, where you had to look after yourself. But Laf, going back to Brazooka, I must be honest, that was a fantastic gallop. I thought done nice, easy pace work around to the top of the straight, and then he let him stride down the bottom. But anyway, let's go up to Craig again. I think we got Marinesco.
Yes, thanks very much. Here's Marinesco, the Silvano. At one time was the Vodacom Durban July favourite. Marinesco, of course, these the famous colours of the great Pocket Power, who did eat it with Dancer's Daughter. The winning combination, Bernard Fadeb, he rode Pocket Power on that occasion for the same owners. The shirt-lift colours with their partners. Head up in the air for the moment as Marinesco races with the blinkers on the big day. Marinesco. It's booked down here to race with blinkers, Marinesco, on the big day, so we'll just have to confirm that. And here's Marinesco. Going a nice, easy pace. Bernard, one of the best heavyweight riders around as they get towards that 700-meter region. And he's stretching nicely in his last run. Of course, in the Gold Challenge, he was more prominent, I'm sure, than he would like to be, and he just didn't quicken up. And Marinesco, after having opened up favourite for the Vodacom Durban July, is now on offer at 10-1. So a 10-1 shot, and Bernard still sitting quietly as Marinesco. Bernard Fader weighted with that 60 kilos. And the 4-year-old son of Savannah, as we've said, Savannah, he sired the Power King, Bold Savannah, heavy metal. You'll see Bernard still sitting very quietly, and Marinesco wants to please. Look at him, stretching out very nicely with a motionless Bernard Fader in the irons. And here's Marinesco, stretching out very nicely at the business end. He just cocked his ears and then pricked him at the line. He's just past the finishing post at the business end of their Gallop was Marinesco. We'll take a look at that slow-mo. And there we go, with that slow-mo. And Bernard, just look at him. He's very quiet aboard Marinesco. Marinesco stretching out nicely. Just changed legs there for a stride, and we'll see that more on the head-on. And he's really thrown out those front legs. There's certainly nothing wrong with him. He's a 5-time winner from the 17 starts. And yeah, just past the 300-meter marker. Here's Marinesco. Bernard Fader sitting very quietly on this occasion. Marinesco comes past, looking good. To give you those times, the 800 meters to finish, 49.14 for Marinesco, 49.14, and the last 400 meters in 23.87. 23.87 for Marinesco. And let's join Paul and Kevin.
Thank you. Well, Kev, an impressive blowout. A nice blowout in the sense that he let him do a little bit of work. Kev, very good horse.
Yeah, he's a very good horse on his day. Laffy, not a very big horse, but you can see what you see is what you get. Really tries hard. You can see him. He really puts everything in when he's even working or galloping. So he's that kind of horse. Like Craig says, he's nothing wrong with him. He really looks well.
Kev, the talk has been tactically they got it wrong in their last race. Can you see them sitting back on him in the big one?
Definitely, Leffer. I think not as far back as he was last year, but I'm sure they'll have him midfield. But as they said at the July draw, they did try and place him because they rode their race around Captain America, and it ended up costing them.
You know, it's good, nice to see Bryn and Fred and Marsh come down to the final field draw. Lovely. But the next one, excuse me, we got coming up is French Navy. Now, he's a multiple Group 1 winner. He's got 57.5 from the Champion Trainer stable. A horse who has shown in the past a great liking for this course.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I see correctly, I think I saw Lyle Hurtson on him there. Welcome him back too. He's just come back from a broken collarbone and had a hyperbaric chamber to speed things up. But he's back in the...
Good young rider, Kevin.
Very good rider. He deserves it, you know. But these little 6 weeks and 2 months you're off for broken collarbones, and broken bones does cost you at this time of the year.
What is it like when you come back from a break like that, Kev? Is your fitness the first thing that comes under pressure?
Yeah, absolutely left. But I'm sure, as I've been seeing on social media, that he has been training with Kevin Larena, getting his mileage done, and that's he's. I wouldn't say he's very unfit, but I mean you still got to get that fine tuning in as in race riding.
Yeah, you can see him. So, as I agree, I'm a big fan of his. He's a really good rider. He's a Kersney boy, a school up near me, so good...
5 out of 6 distinctions, so he's no mug sitting on top of that.
Yeah, and the people are starting to come in now. It's good to see the people coming. But Kev, this horse here, the question is he going to get back to himself?
Well, that's the big question. Last year was a little bit unlucky, but he gallops with a companion, Captain and Master, with Greg Sheen on, which is going to be interesting to see 2 horses actually galloping. So I think these horses will be doing a little bit more than we've seen with the first 3.
I think that the time with Marinesco suggests that they've put down a marker there because he really enjoyed his work, as you noted. And Kev, working with a companion here, as you say, is going to tee them up. The horse he's working with, if I'm not mistaken, won a very good race at Scottsville with Arthur Marcus on. And he's no slouch, and he'll make him pick up his hooves.
Absolutely. You'll see, I'm absolutely sure that Captain and Master will be leading. There, they're going to jump away. Let's go up to Craig, and let's watch this gallop of French Navy.
Yes, and it is now the French Navy. Lyle Hurtson will ride on the big day, 1400 on the turf with Captain and Master Greg Sheen. And Captain and Master got beat first time out and then waltzed in at Scottsville under Anton the second time out. And look at him, he's stretching. He wants to go from French Navy. Of course, this from champion trainer Sean Tarry. And they're working from the 1400 meter marker. And French Navy currently a 33-1 shot. A 33-1 shot is French Navy. He's a son of Count Dubois. And of course, Chris van Niekerk. These colours carried by Pomodoro and Heavy Metal, both victorious in the Vodacom Durban July. And French Navy's just about 2 lengths off Captain and Master and Greg Sheen, who are setting the fractions. French Navy's racing with those rubber boots, the overreach boots. Of course, on race day, they do not race with those. But he's just sitting in behind Captain and Master. So if you see those 2 rubber boots on French Navy, they do not race with him on the race day. And he's coming around now at the 400. So Captain and Master, and here's French Navy now moving up alongside a 6-time winner. And at this stage, Lyle, it's nice to see him back in the irons. He's sitting quietly at this stage on French Navy. So is Captain and Master. And let's see how they end up here. So French Navy, he knows this gravel track. He won the Daily News here. And French Navy is stretching out very nicely at the business end with Captain and Master. And both eased up at the line. We'll take a look at that slow-mo and head on shortly. This is French Navy, the 5-year-old gelding by Count Dubois. Lyle Hewitson now standing up in the irons past the winning post, and he looked very, very well indeed, did French Navy. So French Navy, the 6-time winner, he's nearest us in those famous Chris van Niekerk colours, and Captain and Masters on the left-hand side. You'll see the rein is loose at certain stages here, and Lyle's taking a very nice, relaxed grip on this horse as he gets alongside. He gives him a pat, a seal of approval to say, I'm happy with your workout, my boy. And yes, French Navy, as I say, at 33-1. We'll take a look at that head-on shortly, and then look at the 2 actions. It's French Navy on the right, Captain and Master, the white cap, and yes, French Navy at the business end coming home nice and comfortably. And the times, let's give you those times. From the 800 meter to finish, 48.32 for French Navy. 48.32, and the last 400 meters in 23.21. 23.21. Let's join Paul and Kevin.
Right, Kevin, 2 horses by Count Dubois. A stallion that for me flies under the radar. You know, Edict of Nantes is also by the same stallion, and a very good stallion. Kev, I thought the work was solid.
Yeah, French Navy really picked it up at the top of the straight and really looked well. And yeah, I thought that was very good work.
Yeah, I believe Warren Inferno is with Bernard Fade Herb, who rode Marinesco. Let's go over and have a listen.
Very good morning to you, Paul, and morning to you, Kevin, and Craig as well. So with me in the parade ring is Bernard Fade Herb. He's just thrown his leg over Marinesco. Bernard, that looked impressive. What did you make of that work?
Yes, I think it was a very good workout. He's obviously fresh. He was wanting to do his work, and I think he finishes off his work really well, and I'm very happy with that. He's a small horse, but he puts in a big effort, and I think Robert's got him fine-tuned for the day.
Well, we thank you for your feedback, and we wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much.
There we go. That's Bernard Fade Herb. With regards to Marinesco, let's go back to Paul and Kevin.
Thank you very much. Well, there's Warren trying to warm up, but nice to get the feedback from a great rider like that who's travelled the world and ridden good horses, and he's very happy with a horse that a lot of people had high on their list. Let's talk about French Navy again, Kev. I thought he worked very nicely, very quietly, but he was always sort of within himself.
Yeah, as Craig said, he did win the Daily News last year. He looked like he was going to be one of those horses that are going to come to the party and step up. And for a year, he just hasn't really got that sparkle back that he had as a baby. And I don't blame him. I mean, there was a lot of other good horses around him. But I think if this horse comes back to himself, he's a kind of horse that could put in a bold
yeah,
run.
Absolutely. We've got a horse who's gone down on the poly now. And this would be Master Sabina from the Snaith stable, is trotting down and going down quietly there. But here's the info.
There he is there, left. He's already
out there. But here's the info. Let me just run through the info of Master Sabina. Now with trainer Justin Snaith. No Jockey and Nantes, they say. I don't know who's picked up the ride myself. 57.5. Kev, a very good horse on the half belt.
Listen, Leff, he's a dual Summer Cup winner.
That's right,
So he's a serious horse. He loves Turffontein. I don't know if the gravel track's maybe not just a bit too sharp for him or not, but he hasn't come to the party in Durban yet. But you know, the Jeff Woodruff rod, you leave them out at your own peril.
Justin Snaith now.
I mean Justin Snaith. Sorry. My apologies.
Yes. Well, he's gone down on the track, and as I say, he's a serious racehorse. There he is trotting down, and you've been getting all the times, Kevin?
Yes, we have got the times here left.
How did Brazooka go? I didn't notch down Brazooka's times.
Brazooka's time was very good. From the 800 to the 400 was 50.38, and the last 400 meters was 22.89 for the owner.
Okay, he looked very well. Yeah, there we go. That. And Saratoga's going down, one of Duncan Howell's 2 horses in the race. A very hard hitting horse, Kevin.
Yeah, listen, Laffy's run last year was there was an issue about him getting into the July last year, and he came up and he ran a cracker. So anyway, he ran 5th. There was absolutely got beat just over a length. He's run some great races when the drill got beat a short head, and fluffed his lines a little bit last time.
Thanks, Kevin. That's interesting. Warren's now managed to get hold of Anthony Delpeche.
Welcome back to the parade ring. Yes, Anthony Delpeche is with me, and he rode Nightingale this morning, the first gallop of the morning. Anthony, what were your thoughts on that gallop?
It was okay. She didn't show much around in the gallop. She's very lazy, and yeah, it was okay. It's not a flashy gallop, and she's on her own, so you expect that.
Anthony, thank you very much, and we wish you all the best.
Okay, super. Thank you.
There we go. Let's go straight up to Craig Peters. There's horses on the track. Over to you, Craig.
And the next horse on the track is Master Sabina. Here's the 7-year-old son of Jetmaster, 30-1 on the big day. On the big day, MJ Baileyfeld is the rider. Take note. MJ Baileyfeld will ride on the Vodacom Durban July. Of course, now in the care of Justin Snaith is Master Sabina. This is the 9-time winner, son of Jetmaster. Jetmaster, of course, sired Pocket Power. Jetmaster also the sire of Pomodoro. And here is Master Sabina, 30-1 shot and drawn at stallgate number 4. Leading now, just changed legs there is Master Sabina. You go back in that form line. In the Summer Cup, he beat a horse called the Conglomerate. And, of course, the Conglomerate was last year's Vodacom Durban July victor. He's out to defend his crown. Now, Master Sabina is coming towards the entrance of the straight. And this one's for Mike Tabrolio. 400 metres to go. And here's Master Sabina now in the care of Justin Snaith, ex-Jeff Woodruff, past the 300-metre marker. And Alden Amaya sitting very quietly here on Master Sabina as they come to the last 100 metres. And Master Sabina looks good as well. All as going to plan. Here he comes to the line now. Master Sabina goes past under Elder Demea. Just looking at it, we'll go to that slow-mo and then to that head-on as well. A 30-1 shot drawn at Stallgate 4 for Justin Snaith, the Jetmaster. MJ Baileyfeld will ride on the big day. MJ, of course, looking for his first Vodacom Durban July win. So here's another look at Master Sabina as he gets to the last 100 metres. And Master Sabina, nothing wrong with that gallop at all. He's a 7-year-old, still evergreen though. He knows what it takes to win a big race. And here is Master Sabina coming to the last 50 metres or so. And Elder Demea will give you some feedback perhaps, but he'll be happy with that gallop. Nothing wrong with that. We'll look at that head-on shortly. Here's the head-on of Master Sabina. And also sitting quite quietly is Elder Demea as they come to the last stages. And looks good as well. Just to give you those race times, the race times, 800 metre to finish, 50.14, and the last 400 metres, 23.29. 23.29. Let's go to Paul and Kevin.
Kev moved very well. And Elder Demea, nice to see him in town. He's had a wonderful run with these horses. But this is owned by Debrolio, Michael Debrolio, who now resides in America. And Kev, just watching them out there, you must think, I used to love doing that.
Yeah, listen, your gallops are lovely, especially when you see a horse like that coming down. I mean, he must be 16, nearly 17 hands, a beautiful animal, lovely mover. And I thought there was nothing wrong with that. Justin Snaith must be happy with that. I mean, he's got a strong hand in the race, and every horse counts. Sometimes the right one doesn't win, but if you've got 5 horses in the race, you've got a big chance.
Here we go. Saratoga Dancer is going to be out soon. Wonderful that Duncan Howell's leading trainer in the province has 2 runners in the race, and good to see all the local owners who've got involved, especially my mate Gary Westwater. He always seems to get into a good horse. You know, the Nids are involved, well done to them, and Gary's wife and Chris Winter played for the Sharks, played rugby for the Sharks and short socks. That's his claim to fame. But this is a very serious horse too, and going down to the start, Kev, a good-looking animal.
Yeah, I had the privilege of riding him in his early starts of his career, so I'm not that old, am I?
No, not really.
But yeah, he is. He's a hard knocker, and I think Duncan will have him 100% on the day. He's a really. I give this horse a chance. Lef, you know, he's a trier. That's the most important thing. He gets out there and he gives his best.
Gets the trip. He's a trier. He's. I think he's a runner. If things map out for him, this horse will get into the scrum. He loves the rort, can run from up there, but I think a slightly more patient ride. But let's go up to Craig.
And yeah, Saratoga Dancer just out of the first 4 last year from a very wide draw under Craig Zaki. It's Divan Nettling that rides on this occasion. Head slightly twisted as Saratoga Dancer. Saratoga Dancer 30-1 at one stage, was 16-1 in the betting. Saratoga Dancer, the Mamba in Seattle. This one for Duncan Hulls. He'll start off. He's won 6 out of his 23 and has drawn 7 on the big day in the Vodacom Durban July. A tall, lanky son of Mumbo in Seattle, the 5-year-old here, Saratoga Dancer. Head slightly twisted as Saratoga Dancer as he is about to come to the last 500 metres and the entrance to the straight. And Saratoga Dancer, the side view. He'll come into the home stretch. And they'll have just over 400 metres to go when they turn into that home stretch. A little bit disappointing from some aspects in his last start, but I think there was some excuses that he was not striding out. Here comes Saratoga Dancer. He was also more prominent and he just didn't kick on in his last outing. Head still twisted. Perhaps Divan Nettling or Duncan Els, they'll tell us a little bit more about that. Saratoga Dancer comes through 30-1 for the big day. Vodacom Durban July day. Saratoga Dancer. Yeah, for Mr. and Mrs. Jane Trotter, Duncan Els, Westwater, Winter and others. And his head still twisted as he comes through here. Is Saratoga Dancer. So Saratoga Dancer at the end of that gallop. And the Mumba in Seattle, he starts off from Stallgate 7 on Vodacom Durban July day, and he's 30-1. He's a 6-time winner from 23. We'll take a look at the slow-mo. Yeah, Saratoga Dancer with that white noseband on. As I say, from a wide draw last year, he was just out of the placings. And then, of course, recently he was narrowly beaten by Marinesco, and that was in the Drillall Stakes. He got beaten third by 3 short heads. And here's Saratoga Dancer at the business end of their gallop. I'll just give you those times after we look at the head-on, and then Sheldon will take you through for the rest of the gallops. And here's the 800. Well, yeah, we just look at that from that action. Saratoga Dancer coming to the business end. And just to give you those times, 800 metres to finish, 51.26. 51.26. The last 400 metres, 25.07. 25.07. Sheldon will take you through to the rest. Paul and Kevin.
Thanks very much for your input, Craig. And just a quick question before we go to the Conglomerate. Why would a horse have his head sideways? You used to ride?
Yeah, left. Sometimes it could be the rider.
Yes.
You never know. Maybe it's the horse who's got a habit. He likes to just gallop with his head a little bit. But I think they didn't want him to do too much. So they just kept him in. So it's a 6 of one, half a dozen of another question. Yeah. So anyway,
here we go. The Conglomerate, last year's winner. Let's go on upstairs to Sheldon. It's on the poly.
Next gallop taking place, this will be the Conglomerate on the poly track. So the Conglomerate for the J. Ramsden stable. Anton Marcus will take him through his prep on the poly from the 1600 metre mark. That is the Conglomerate. You can see his head's down into the chest and his last year's preparation. I think he also worked on the poly with Anton aboard, and then Pierce Stradham jumped aboard for the big race success. A horse who could be backed at big odds earlier on the Conglomerate. He has now shortened down to 14-1 from the J. Ramsden stable. Of course, second to Master Sabina in the Summer Cup. Last year's Vodacom Durban July winner is the Conglomerate, a son of Lonro. His preparation looks to be spot on. He's had 2 easy preps coming into the Vodacom Durban July, and of course Joey Ramsden, he'll have him spot on for the big race day. He's a 6-time winning individual. He'll jump from stallgate 3. There was only stallgates 3 and 20 left. And Joey Ramsden, like the colour of magic, he pulled out his magic wand and he pulled that number 3 draw. Here's the Conglomerate, big runner in my books. I think he's a horse who could certainly repeat. History could repeat itself. Coming to the 600, here's the Conglomerate. He's about to straighten up. Anton Marcus will bring him down the centre of the course. There you can see homeward bound with just on 400 to go, the Conglomerate. He ran 6 behind Nebula and then 6 last time in the Gold Challenge behind Captain America. Only carries a half a kilogram more than last year, so really starting to stretch out, and Anton Marcus is going to allow him to move through. Callan Murray will pick up the big race day duties for Jay Ramsden. Here's the Conglomerate coming through with flying colours the last 75 metres, and when they hit that winning post, his ears prick, he's stretching out with authority, and this is a horse who could certainly go back to back and write his names back in the history books. There's the slow-mo. You can see Anton Marcus, and I think after this workout we're going to hear some good feedback about the Conglomerate. He's a horse who's really got the ability and he's achieved it. He's won the Vodacom Durban July, and when you got that on your resume, you come back a year later, big respect. The Conglomerate just stretching out. There you can see Prixie's ears. Of course, his penultimate run on the poly behind Nebula, and then last time given a nice comfortable ride from Anton Marcus, and this is a horse who's going to certainly strip a fit horse on race day. Coming to the last 200 metres, the Conglomerate, an Australian import for the Mayfair speculators, the Eusters and the Brugmans, and I think after this performance this morning, they're going to prick their ears. And Edict of Nantes, this is the horse, the Conglomerate, this is a horse who's going to give you a run for your money in the silks. Let's go down to Paul and Kevin.
Well, Kev, there we are, last year's winner.
Yeah, absolutely.
They say it's cyclical with horses. You come back same time of the year and you're effective. Looks like Joey's doing it the right way.
Yeah, Joey has publicly said that he's not the best mover in town, and he really does well in Durban. And you can see that's the best I've seen him move for a long time. He really was striding well, and I thought that was a very good gallop. As Sheldon says, he's got to be a big runner at 14-1. I think he's a runner.
He's a runner. Okay, last year's winner. But here we go. This looks like Fred Cravier's silk. So it's my turn. Ran a great race last year, Kevin. He's a very good horse. Pierre Stradum.
Yeah, well, that's the big question, although he's caught it a little bit wide. But anyway, let's go up to Sheldon. I think this horse has just jumped away already.
In action, it's my turn from the Justin Snaith camp. He's a horse who jumped from the 1600 on the turf. He'll work alone. And here's a look at It's My Turn. Of course, last year, 4th to the Conglomerate, just over 2 lengths behind. He carried 55.5 last year around, and looking at this year, the same weight as last year. So in a good vein of form, It's My Turn. He's a horse who's got any amount of ability, and of course the team will have him spot on for the big race day. Justin Snaith, he knows what it takes to win these big races. And then you got the masterful Pierre Stradum, so don't worry too much about that 17 gate. Pierre Stradum, he's done it from the extreme outside, so a few barriers in if you like. It's My Turn for Fred Crabier. He's a horse who's going to turn it on big race day. Looking at his recent runs, he ran 3rd in the betting world 1900 behind 10 Gun Salute, was only beaten 2 lengths on that occasion. He's run in the big races behind Whiskey Baron, but that race last year behind the Conglomerate out the top draw from that 12 draw. He's a horse who's got any amount of ability. About a swing for home with about 500 metres left to go. It's My Turn. Richard Ferree going to take him through his paces. He's working lonesome. He's around 8-1 in the market if you like. It's My Turn. There you can see he starts to throw those forelegs out. He's starting to work coming to the 300-metre marker, and another horse who looks very flashy this morning. And as you would expect for the Vodacom Durban July Grade 1, when they come to the course this morning and they strut their stuff, they got to be 100% here. So here you see It's My Turn, and they'll be saying that if he comes past the winners enclosure on big race day. It's My Turn. Flashy workout this morning, and a horse who builds stronger and stronger to the bit coming to that winning post. Having a look at that slow-mo, there you can see It's My Turn going through the motions. Another horse who's looking really elastic this morning. He's stretching out and he'll be running on very powerfully Vodacom Durban July day. Of course, Piers Stratham, a master tactician. He'll have a ace up his sleeve, and It's My Turn coming through after a decent third behind 10 Gun Salute, a horse who's got the ability to pull off the big race day. There's the last 200 meters. It's My Turn coming down towards the winning post, and the 800 to finish 50.45, and the 400 to finish 24.63. 400 to finish 24.63. Down to the guys in the studio.
Good work, Kevin. Came through nicely. Very good also. You were telling me he's solid at 10 to 1, eh?
Yeah, he's 10 to 1. I think with Striker Stratham, that's a very good price. I think Striker was happy about his draw too. And
was he drawn to, or his draw also?
He's drawn badly.
Oh, okay.
He's drawn very badly. I think he's drawn 16.
Okay.
But that's the way Striker is. He'd like to take his options from the outside. He done it last year on the Conglomerate, but really looks very well.
Well, we're going to get Duncan Howell's opinion. He's seen his first runner work through. Let's go down and Warren.
Thanks very much, guys. Yes, indeed. With me is Duncan. Duncan, two questions for you. The first one is your thoughts on the gallop of Saratoga Dancer.
I thought it was good. He looked quite agile in the workout, and he's a very fit horse. He recovered quickly after the work, so I'm very happy.
The second question is maybe you can answer. There's obviously a couple of people asking. He galloped with his head slightly twisted. Any reason for that?
I taught him to do that so that when he's out in front with 200 to go, he can just have a look if anybody's coming. No, on a serious note, I think it was more a case he wasn't running at his top. Devon was holding him back. He is also the high head carriage. And I think in that respect, you're basically just holding the horse back from working too fast.
Duncan, all the very best, and we'll chat to you once 10 guns galloped.
Thank you.
There we go. That's Duncan Howells. He's told us why Saratoga Dancer galloped with his head slightly twisted, and that's what they're here for. We wish everybody all the best. Let's go back to Paul and Kevin.
Well, Kev, there we go. Nice to see Duncan with a sense of humour.
Yeah, that's the first time I've seen Duncan so early in the morning have a little giggle, but he's 100% right what he says. The horse does carry, he's got a very high head carriage and does carry it a little bit to the left, but won't affect him on the race day. They'll have their heads down, and he'll have a jockey trying to push his head off his shoulders.
Yes, Tilbury Fort. There it is on the left, Tilbury Fort. And here's the slide for Tilbury Fort. 53 kilos, and good to see a bunch of good guys owning this horse as well. You know, headed by, of course, the Silks of Mark Curry. He's a wonderful guy. And there's he's going at Eric van Niekerk, the first horse that he's had. His father's won this race twice. Very good to see him, and well done to all the partners for getting this in and bred by the Armitages. A lot of people say it's a tough task for this horse, Kev.
Yeah, Lef, I must be honest, I didn't know really much about this horse until I've looked into him, until he got into the July, and he's not the worst horse in the race, as you can see. Sean wouldn't have put him in the race if he didn't think he's got a chance, or he's not going to use him for something, but yeah, he's a nice horse. He's got sort of solid form, and he's one of those horses that could flash up in the first 4, 5 and pay.
I think that runner-up berth in the 1900, and good to see them coming in. Bear in mind the view room's full of people. You can get a wonderful breakfast there, and people have come in and they're having their juices and their bacon and their sausages, and these are the guys who are out there right there, getting close to the horses, which is always wonderful, forming their opinions. And Kev, getting back to Tilbury Fort. It's a horse who came through and ran such a cracker in the 1900, which enabled him to get into the race.
Yeah, absolutely, Lef. When they can show that sort of ability, you want to bring that on the big day. Yeah. And he's a kind of horse that could, as I said, splash into the top 6 placings.
Yeah, here they go. They're going down. Here they go. Let's go on upstairs to Sheldon.
Next gallop this morning, we see Tilbury Fort going through his paces. We've got Tilbury Fort. This is from the Sean Terry stable. Greg Sheen working with Sarissa. I believe Lyle Hurtson will take Sarissa through his paces. Tilbury Fort, you can pick your price about Tilbury Fort. There's some 40 and 45 to 1 available about Tilbury Fort. He's a horse who comes in as a 2-time winner from his 11 runs to date. He's only earned 390,000 Rand in stakes, so he gets a big crack at this big purse in the Vodacom Durban July, the 4.25 million Rand Vodacom Durban July. Sarissa, we know he's as game as they come. He's a horse who displays those front-running tactics, so Sarissa's going to tow through, and Tilbury Fort will sit back in second. Of course, he races for a host of connections, the Curries, the Jacobs, the Mathans, the Van Niekerks, the Zogbies, the Terrys, the Hoods, so they'll all be looking for a big performance from Tilbury Fort. Nice easy action there, stretching out, and this son of Horse Chestnut out of the restructure mare Colleen. Greg Sheen from gate 11 on big race day for Sean Terry, and he'll be looking to boost up those earnings. Of course, he ran second to 10 Gun Salute in the Betting World 1900, and that's the run that probably secured his fate here. And Tilbury Fort's going to hook out coming to the final 300. Sarissa's on the left in the blue, but at the 300, Tilbury Fort now moves alongside in those yellow and black silks, comes alongside, gets to Sarissa, and just going through. There's a flick down the neck, asking him just to get a little bit serious the last 100 metres. Sarissa's on the bridle, and Tilbury Fort, just asked upon for a little bit of an effort, comes to the outside, goes down by a neck to Sarissa. That's Tilbury Fort. Greg Sheen for Sean Terry, 53 kilograms from Stallgate number 11. The 3-year-old son of Horse Chestnut. Coming to the last 100 metres, Sarissa, stock still on the left-hand side. Tilbury Fort, he got a serious slap down the shoulder with about 200 metres to go, and just doing what he's asked to do this morning. There you'll see he just seems to change legs for a stride, and he starts to get towards that winning post and just takes things comfortably the last 50 metres. Putting in his work effort this morning, but not asked to do much more than he had to. Coming to the 200-metre marker there on the right-hand side, and Sarissa's in the blue silks. There you'll see just a niggle and that flick down the neck. He's not really paying attention this morning, Tilbury Fort. He's having a look at the scenery, and this is going to be a gallop that will bring him along. It'll certainly stand him in good stead. Of course, last time he did run here behind 10 Gun Salute. Let's go down to Paul and Kevin.
Well, there we go, working through Tilbury Fort. Any money for this one?
Left no money for him, 33 to 1, and I think he'll start bigger on the day when money comes for other horses. As Sheldon said, he was looking around. I'm surprised he's raced here left, but I mean,
he raced at night.
Yeah, he's raced at night, so he couldn't see all the cars and the crowds. But that wasn't eye-catching gallop, but he's got out there, and people have seen him. And I think he'll be about 40-50 to 1 shot on the day.
Yeah, that's true. I know next horse has gone out. Another horse has gone out on the track we're going to be getting you to. Oh, this here, Cram Bambuli. Here is Cram Bambuli. What wonderful to see the Sabina Plattner, a great patron of the industry. Kev, another one, Justin Saith, Alderman are going through a great run.
Yeah, he's in a purple patch at the moment, left. My son's in the betting game as well, and he says there's a lot of sneaky money for this horse to run a place. And that good old saying, if a horse is good enough to run a place, it's good enough to win. This is a horse that's going to be under the radar. I'm just trying to look at the betting at the moment. Cram Bambuli is 50 to 1 for me, left.
His form's pretty good. I looked at him. Those group races he won them well.
Absolutely. This horse flies under the radar, and I think his preparations have been perfect, but I think 50 to 1 is very good value, and I'm sure he's going to go.
They pay 6 on the
first 6. This has got to be a serious horse. You've got to put him into your quartets and trifectas and that. And 6 places. You've got an extra 2 places to have a go. But Aldo is in top form. He knows where the winner's box is.
This looks like the favourite coming out after him, Edict of Nantes. Kev, he's going past the truth. Let's quickly talk about Edict of Nantes, another Count Dubois. Very good 3-year-old.
Very good left. I sat next to Brett at the draw, and he's really bullish about this horse. He says the horse will definitely come on from his last run, which is fantastic. And I think Anton Marcus riding at 54 says it all.
There we go. Clover Flay Stud, the breeders of this horse. Brett Crawford having a wonderful season, a wonderful trainer. Arthur Marcus is a genius on a horse. 54. It'll be interesting, Kev, to get him down to 54. Arthur?
Yeah, that's a hell of a problem. We've all been through that thing. But he is top of the boards at 4 to 1. There is no money for him at the moment. It says steady at 4 to 1. I'm sure he's going to go a little bit bigger so the public can start taking their doubles and trebles. We've got 9 days left for the big day left, and the doubles and trebles start coming in now.
Yeah, the money. As we were saying, we were just speaking to a leading bookmaker, and he said it really picks up the gambling on this race through the totes, through the bookmakers, when you've had the Vodacom Durban July Gallops. But let's go up to Sheldon.
Next gallop is Cram Bambuli, Alder for Justin Snaith. He'll jump from the 1600 meter mark. We're going to see Cram Bambuli in action. And while he goes through his paces, let me just give you Tilbury Fort's time, 800 to finish, 88.72, 88.72, and the 400 to finish for Tilbury Fort, 23.84, 23.84. And now we're going to focus in on Cram Bambuli. Ears pricked and going around his turn there. He's an individual who is a 5-year-old chestnut gelded son of Black Minnelush for Sabine Plattner, and of course they'll cast their minds back to Angus, and Angus was a horse who went very, very close. He gave them a powerful action-packed performance, and Cram Bambuli from that 19-gate Elder Mayer. He could be looking for his 6th winner on the day. He's a man who's really been in tremendous form, hit them for 6 Elder Mayer, and he's a man who could have a big day on Vodacom Durban July Day. Justin Snaith from a 19 draw, and just listening to Justin Snaith, not too concerned about the draw. They didn't want an inside draw for Cram Bambuli because he's not a horse who wants to be cramped and taken up from an inside gate, so he can be left alone where he is comfortable. And we know Cram Bambuli, as he has turned it on in the past, his recent victories have been eye-catching in the fact that he hasn't come off the bridle, and a horse who will come here full of confidence. Coming to the 450 and turning for home, Cram Bambuli. Elder Mayer is just going to ask him to stretch out. He comes to the outside there in the Sabine Plattner's silks. He has won 6 of his 23 runs to date, and he's had the 8 placings. Cram Bambuli looking for the hat-trick. He's in fine form, and if you fancy Cram Bambuli at around 50 to 1, perhaps those tote places of the 6 places paid out in the Vodacom Durban July, that can be one of those horses for the Vodacom Durban July. Top 6 for Cram Bambuli. And he comes through his paces for the Justin Snaith camp, and this is a son of Black Minnelush. There's the slow-mo. As we mentioned, those 6 places, Cram Bambuli could be a contender, and at around 50 to 1, he could pay some nice dividends on the tote there. Cram Bambuli coming through the last 50 meters. He'll be looking for victory number 7 from his 24 runs to date, and Elder Mayer for Justin Snaith. They'll be looking to get some luck in the running. The 800 to finish for Cram Bambuli, 54.92, and the 400 to finish, 25.23. 400 to finish, 25.23. Currently 50 to 1 Cram Bambuli, and that's his workout this morning. And now we're going to look at the favourite, the joint favourite, Edict of Nantes. He'll be taken through his strides this morning. And of course, if you look at Edict of Nantes, Anton Marcus, he's the talking jockey, getting down to 54 kilograms. Going to take some doing, but he obviously believes he's got a winning ride here in Edict of Nantes. This is from the powerful Brett Crawford stable, Grade 1. That's his name, Brett Crawford. He's had the Grade 1s this season. He'll be looking to add another one to his tally, and what better than the R4.25 million Grade 1 Vodacom Durban July. Edict of Nantes, he's a current 4 to 1 joint favourite with Sahim. He'll jump from stallgate number 13, 54 kilograms on his back, the son of Count Dubois. He's won 5 of his 12 to date, and there you'll see Anton Marcus just starting to punch away slightly. You'll see he's a little bit animated in the irons there. He's now asking Edict of Nantes to get to the outside, and he's given a few niggles there. Anton Marcus is saying, we're here for business this morning. We're at the 400 meter marker. Give me what you got, and let's see if it's good enough to land the Grade 1. Edict of Nantes, of course, the Daily News 2000 winner, beating Sahim, where Anton Marcus partnered him, 60 kilograms on that occasion, down to the 54, and Anton's now just taking it easy on him and just going through his paces. In fact, he's been eased right down the last 50 meters, and just coming to the post there, Edict of Nantes eased right down, and not too much we can take out of that last 75 meters there. He was stretching well coming to the 300, and then the last 75 meters he was just geared right down. So it'll be interesting to see what Anton Marcus can give us the feedback, or perhaps Brett Crawford that last 70 meters. But Anton was asking him to run between the 6 and the 300, and then just shortens his stride coming to the last 75. Anton just puts his hands down, and this is the joint favourite, Edict of Nantes. And that last 50 meters there, you can see that stride just coming right down, shortens dramatically, and he's coming right down to an easy canter at the business end. and be very interesting to get the feedback, because there you can see Anton's niggling. He's asked him for maximum, and then he just looks between the shoulders there for a stride, and he takes a bit of a hold of Edict of Nantes. He looks down again there. So I think this is an interview we got to get from and get some feedback about Edict of Nantes. That last 50 meters, very, very interesting. Down to Paul and Kevin. What did you make of that?
Thanks, Sheldon. Well, interesting, Kev. You'd know more about it being a rider. Arthur just let him alone. His hands are on the wither.
I'm sure that's instructions from the trainer, or I would say the trainer. Let him work between the 6 and 300 and ease him up. So the times are going to be absolutely something you just throw in the rubbish bin. You don't have to worry about times now. But you could see him. He's a lovely horse. He's a very relaxed horse. And as Anton did put his hands on his neck like that, you saw he just eased up.
I think he got the message from the rider.
Yeah, he looks like a very intelligent horse. Beautiful looking animal. He deserves to be a 4-1 favourite, knowing that Anton Marcus is getting down to 54.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a very, very good horse. And here we've got 10 Gun Salute. It's a wonderfully named horse, this. And I don't know who's riding it today. Muzi rides it.
No. I think that's the work rider.
Work rider's riding
for
it.
Duncan Howells, yeah.
And he's gone on out. And let's have a look at the fact file. Here it is, the Australian horse. And Duncan Howells, his second runner. Muzi Yerni, very talented rider. 55.5. Kev, this horse's chances will be enhanced if there's a cut in the ground.
Yeah, absolutely, Lef. I think he's got a lovely galloping weight. He was very impressive in the 1900. Really quickened up
after running wide.
He quickened up very well, and as Duncan said, Heinrich Kuhn is a big owner in the yard. Yeah. As Duncan says, he's just going to this will be his last bit of work virtually until the day. He likes to race a bit fresh, so next week he'll be taking it a bit easy. But he's a lovely animal. He's always had the ability. He's had 1 or 2 issues. I think Duncan's got him around. For the day, he'll have him 100% right. I can't see him get him any fitter than he is now. But he's a good-looking animal. Good-looking,
very talented horse, this imported horse. The way he won the 1900 and there was a cut in the ground was so impressive. He had walked away from them and won very comfy. Tilbury Fort was chasing shadows. But that wasn't ground that was certainly forgiving. And it's not going to be that soft on Vodacom Durban July. But he's a horse steeped in talent and gone out there with a lead pony. And people are starting to get their opinions. You can see them shaking their hands and their heads and saying, I don't fancy this. And some people are waving at the camera. Their moment in the sun. But the shrewd analysts will be trying to work it out. And there are. They're keeping them nice and quiet. And good to see Mr. Kuhn and the trading team doing so well. They've put money into the game as well. And Duncan's produced the goods for them.
Yeah, absolutely, Lef. He has thrown the money at the game. He lives in Cape Town, so he doesn't have to lead. He doesn't lead all his winners in, but Duncan does produce the goods and has really done very well for the man.
Yeah, this is a lovely specimen. And
he must probably got his issues a bit left, so that's why they got a pony with him. So just let him follow him down, so he doesn't stop down the back there, and you have to force him to do a little bit more than you want him to do. Just get him down to them, let him jump away, and let him do his thing.
Yeah, nice to see the fashion. They're working on the fashions. A bit of magic this year. That looks like Dave McLeod doing the photos and a presenter. But let's go on upstairs to Sheldon.
Next gallop will be 10 Gun Salute, but before we go into him, Edict of Nantes, those times, obviously we won't read too much into the times, 800 to finish, 52.52, and then eased right down the last 200 meters, 400 to finish, 26.66, Edict of Nantes, 26.66, as we focus in on 10 Gun Salute, and as you will see on your World of Winners teletrack, the Vodacom Durban July Pick 6 Mega Pool, we got that 2 million rand carryover, and we got a guaranteed 10 million rand pool. They're estimating 11 million plus. I think we set our sights on around 12 million rand. Let's grow that pool. But he has 10 Gun Salute, the son of Henry the Navigator, a gelded 4-year-old from the Duncan Howell stable. He's been taken through his paces. You can see he's really stretching. He's an athletic individual, and the way he turned it on in the betting world 1900, if he flashes that brilliant turn of foot, he's a horse who could certainly really do it for the Duncan House camp. He's a horse who's got the ability, and when he beat Tilbury Fort round the turn, Muzi clicked to him. He shot away from them in the betting world, and that was it. As they say, the rest is history. Caspen Dulan Hlongwe has taken him through his paces this morning. This is a work rider, and he's asking him to stretch. He's given him a couple of flicks, and here you can see 10 Gun Salute. He's an individual who has been backed in the market, and he comes through stretching with total authority. 10 Gun Salute, that could be the call on Vodacom Durban July Day. He's looking for his 5th victory. He's won over 702,000 Rand in stakes, and of course the betting world 1900, that was his claim to fame. Got him into the Vodacom Durban July. 10 Gun Salute, he'll carry 55.5 on big race day, draw 5, and Muzi Yeni, yeah, going through his strides. 10 Gun Salute, this is for the Coons and the Red Jack trading. 10 Gun Salute coming through, and another horse who's worked tremendously well this morning. Looking at his 800 to finish, 47.40, so he was asked to work. 10 Gun Salute, 47.40, and the 400 to finish, 22.86. 22.86, down to Paul.
Well, here we go. 10 Gun Salute. He really is a horse with tons of ability. He worked through very nicely. They let him run from a long way out. His time was quick.
Yeah, Laffy, I thought he worked very well. Like I said earlier, speaking to Duncan, this is his last little bit of work before the thing, but there has been money for him left. He's down to a little bit of, let me have a look here.
What's the best you can get?
You can get a little bit of, oh, here we go.
Spit it out?
I can't find his name again. 10 Gun Salute. How
under
far?
T.
Yeah, there we are. He's 11 to 1 at the moment,
11
from
to 1.
15 to 1 to 13 to 1 to 11 to 1. So
So they're nibbling.
his name is in the green, so there is money for him. And I think at the 15 to 1, he was a bit of value. And
Yes. Duncan has always rated this horse highly, and niggly problems have been the reason why we haven't seen the best of him. But maybe Duncan's got him perfect because he showed that in his last run.
yeah, Laff, I think that last run would have he'll put a mirror image onto that. He'll just try and work out what he done before that run, what he did before that run, and what he's going to do this week and next week, and he must probably come to the party and also be 100% on the day.
I agree with you. This horse is going to have supporters. He's got ability, and he showed it. He's moving beautifully, and probably the quickest time of the morning so far. But Kev, we've got a few to go. We've got some very interesting horses. The next one's out here, and this is Black Arthur, who got into this race by virtue of running 3rd in the Group 3, not beaten far, and has to turn his career around. But here he is. He's Ron Phoenix in town to ride him 54.5, bred by the owner, and nice to see Alec Foster involved. He's always been a great advocate of South African racing, and it's wonderful that he's got some decent horses over the years. He's had some good ones too, Kev. So Black Arthur is a horse that I think has ability, but has had a rough patch.
Yeah, Laffy, a year ago he looked like he was going to be a superstar, and then he just went through a bit of a patch, and they gelded him and they've brought him back, and Justin really thinks highly of this horse, and I also agree with him. And like you say, he got into the July with a bit of controversial, there's a little bit of a controversial issue, but these are the horse. Saratoga Dancer was in the same boat last year, and he got beat a length and a half. So I think this horse, if he comes to the party, puts his best foot forward, he's a big runner, and I know that they would have expected a little bit more from him in his preparation, but it hasn't come to the party. But he's in, he's got a run. Now we're going to see him. I think he's a serious horse. You'll have a look at him. If the guys are going to see him gallop now or go to the parade ring, he's an absolutely magnificent looking specimen, and I think he's a better gelding.
It looks like he's going to go the same route as Conglomerate and work on the poly, but he might still.
No, I think he'll go on the grass, Left.
Do you think he'll go on the grass?
I think he'll turn right here.
So
it's good that they're keeping the grass in good nick.
Yes. Anyone cantering down this way is going on the poly, and cantering around the back, you go on the turf. Good idea.
Okay, well, he's going onto the turf now, so he's going down to the 1,000-metre mark, and they just slip over, so they do save the track. But let's go up to Sheldon. He wants to go. Yeah, let's have a look.
Here's Black Arthur about to be taken through his paces. I'm going to give you the time of the Conglomerate if you haven't got that time. The 800 to finish, 22.91 for the Conglomerate, 22.91, and the 400 to finish. Well, in fact, they got them a wrong way around. 800 to finish is 48.38, 48.38, and the 400 to finish in 22.91. That's for the Conglomerate. Here's a look at Black Arthur. He's a horse who's enjoyed plenty of betting support, the anti-post market, and now around 8-1 Black Arthur. He gets a chance to strut his stuff. There you can see really throwing those front legs out, and he's power-packed, this individual. He could be a big proposition on Vodacom Durban July Day. Last year they brought Dougie White to ride him from a 15 draw. He finished 7th, 2 3/4 lengths behind the Conglomerate. He's a horse who comes in a kilogram less. Last year he shouldered 55.5. He's got 54.5 here for Justin Snaith, and if Grant Van Nicker can get Black Arthur to come through, this is one of the top fancies. He's coming through his gallop there. You can see motionlessly just coming through. You can see the rider's just sitting, clicking away, but he's got that elastic-like stride, and one of the more impressive workouts this morning. Here's Black Arthur. He's here for business. He struts his stuff. Black Arthur. Grant Van Nicker will do the business for the Justin Snaith team, and if you like Black Arthur, he'll jump from draw number 8, third to Elusive Silva last time out, a horse who's going to come on leaps and bounds with the recent runs under the belt. Black Arthur, the son of Silvano for the Fosters. He's a horse who will come from just off the speed. He can really turn it on, as we saw last season with a flashy performance. Black Arthur really stretching out, a magnificent athletic individual. And that 800 to finish, 49.43. 49.43. The 400 to finish in an impressive 22.67. 22.67. Very impressive workout from Black Arthur. He was asked to stretch, although the rider's not really getting stuck into him. You can see he is asking him to really give it to him. Just a couple of niggles away, and Black Arthur, he's a horse who's come to Gravel this morning. He's stretching those pistons, and he's a horse that you've got to look sharp on Vodacom Durban July Day. Black Arthur, he's a horse who could certainly pull it out the bag, and he might be the magical horse on display, Black Arthur. Let's go down to the guys.
Thanks very much, Kevin.
Sheldon.
You're Sheldon.
Thanks
very much, Kevin. 15-2?
Yeah, 15-2 left. What we saw there now, that was very impressive. As Sheldon said, he's really throwing those legs out. He's moving well. He wants to race. He looks like he's got his act together, and I was very impressed with that. And 22.67 is a good time on the bit.
So they've let him run, but I believe Warren's got someone with him.
Thanks very much, guys. Yeah, we've just seen 10 Gun Salute under Kospendul Shlangwane come through his paces. Duncan, your thoughts on that gallop?
Very good, very happy. I thought he looked fit, agile. You can't not be happy with a gallop like that.
Thank you for your feedback, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
There we go. That's the thought and feedback from the Duncan Howell stable. They've got 10 Gun Salute. Let's go back to Paul and Kevin.
Right, Kev, let's get back to this horse. He was asked to run. A lot of them haven't been asked to run, but I was pleased with the work, and here we go. Here's Pagoda. Jeff Woodruff's got this. Chase Marjan has really turned his career around. 53 kilograms, Vasfontein stud, and well done to the owners, of which Jeff is one of them. Came to fame. His claim to fame is second in the Group 1 SA Derby. We ran second to Al Salim.
Yeah, no, Lef, it's quite funny how when horses run second and their names aren't in the lights. And Pagoda's never been one of those horses that I've followed or watched or anything. But something has to run second, like you say, and they do run second, but then they fly under the radar. So you don't know this horse's true ability, but on that sort of form, he's got to be a horse.
He did run behind a good few horses in the Daily News, which might have taken a little bit of gloss off him. And he might be a horse who's a real stamina horse and would want the pace to be on, Kev.
I would say so. He's that kind of horse. And as you know, Jeff Woodruff really gets his horses super fit and super ready for these big races. He knows how to train Group 1s, and I'm sure this horse will be 100% when he's ready.
There's no doubt. Jeff's a very good trainer. And this horse has gone out with a companion. And they're going to, let's have it, the people in KZN haven't seen that much of him. He's only had the one run down.
Says the companion is Barpot with Stewie Randolph on. So
good to see Stewie back, Kevin.
Yeah, long time Stewie's back. Lyle Hewittson's back. Yeah, he's had an op. There's nothing worse than seeing these guys. But anyway, they're jumping away. Let's go up to Sheldon. This is Pagoda.
Pagoda about to be taken through his paces. He's jumped away with a companion. I believe it is Bipot and Stuart Randolph. They'll tow along by 2, and you'll see back in second Pagoda. Alec Forbes will take the Jeff Woodruff individual 3's paces. Big race day. Chase Morjan for the Jeff Woodruff stable from gate 14. He's a son of Magog. And like the guys mentioned, the SA Derby second to El Sahim in the grade 1. That's his claim to fame, which saw his merit rating go right through from a 92 to a 101. In the Daily News, 2006.5 lengths behind Edict of Nantes, and a horse who's going to look for some luck on the big race day. If you're looking to back Pagoda, some 25 to 1 is available. He'll jump from stall gate number 14. And who better than Jeff Woodruff to have as the conditioner, a man who really knows what it takes. Of course, if you cast your mind back to 99 and 2000, the breathtaking El Picha, Jeff Woodruff back to back, and that's certainly going to be good for Pagoda. Top of the lane, Bipots on the left-hand side, and the yellow and black silks of Pagoda. Hooks to the outside, and just about to be asked the question. He races with the blinkers. He's got those customary blinkers on. The 3-year-old son of Magog from the Fastfontein stud. He's a 3-time winner from his 10 outings, and Pagoda just been shaken up coming to the 200-meter marker. Bipot still on the bridle. Pagoda now goes on by ahead, coming to the last 75 meters, and another runner just been asked to do exactly what he's here to do, show his well-being, and Pagoda has shown his well-being, and this is going to be his workout towards the Vodacom Durban July, 4.25 million rand. Slow-mo replay, we'll see Pagoda on the right-hand side. He gets to Bipot. He goes on by about a long neck, and then just the last 75 meters, he gets geared down. There you can see another horse who's looking good this morning. He's here to show his well-being, and after that, second to El Sahim. If he can reproduce that level of form, another runner for the tote placings, the top 6, Pagoda number 16. Paul and Kevin, they'll be able to guide us in the right direction.
Well, there we go, Kev, and moving through with Bipot. I thought Bipot worked well too.
Yeah, Bipot was going very well on the inside left. One thing I noticed there about Pagoda, he had his blinkers on, he had everything, and he looks a lazy horse in work. You just could see that. So they've thrown the blinkers on just to make sure that he does his work. And
here's the head on, Kev.
Stewie's Stewie's holding back for with Bipot, but Pagoda's just giving a little smack, a little niggle, blinkers on, everything's there. So he looks that kind of horse, lazy in his work, but on race day comes to the party.
Yeah, Kev, as you say, this horse wants a bit of speed.
He looks out and out stayer just on that.
Stay. He wants it hard and tough. But Warren Linfernus downstairs with Lyle Hewitson.
Well, as Kevin and Paul alluded to earlier, wonderful to see young Lyle Hewitson back in the saddle after his injury. And Lyle, you put French Navy through his paces this morning. What are your thoughts on that gallop?
I have to say, I don't think he put a foot wrong. He really put up a good gallop. He does tend to be a lazy sort of horse at work, but today he really put in a good gallop, and he pulled me all the way through to the line. So I couldn't be more happy with that, and I'm looking forward to the big day.
Now, it's wonderful to see you back, and you've certainly put your heart and soul into getting yourself right, and the big day's around the corner, and we wish you all the very best.
Yes, I put a lot of time into recovery, but it's all worth it now, and I'm just grateful that I'm participating in a big day like the July.
There we go. Well done, Lyle. That's Lyle Hewitson, a young rider who we all know has got tons of talent, and he has given us his feedback on French Navy. Let's go back up to Paul and Kevin Shearsey.
Kev, what I found interesting there was what Lyle had on his skull cap. What is that, Kev?
Yeah, left. That is it's a beeper. It's a timer, but all it does is just beeps in your ear. As you see, it leaves it on either side of your skull cap, and that beeps every second. So if a trainer, especially you go to Hong Kong or Singapore, and they work plenty on times, they say to you, take this horse in the last 400 meters, you go 22 seconds. You must make sure that thing beeps 22 times.
You listen to that beep.
If it gets to beep 25, keep going with your horse because the trainer's going to give you a hiding.
We did tell you earlier we're going to show you the 2 Gauteng horses work, El Salim and Safe Harbor. We've got a video of the work. We'll be showing it to you now.
There we got that footage from Gauteng from the 1600-meter disc. You'll see El Sahim out in front. El Sahim for El Adiat South Africa. Sean Terry, Samanga Kamalo from the one draw on big race day and taken through the paces with the companion, and that is Safe Harbor. Safe Harbor, of course, will jump from stallgate number 12. Nuresh Juggler will jet out for the big race day, the daughter of Elusive Fort. And here we'll see El Sahim, of course, winner of the SA Derby, the Grade 1, beating Pagoda. And then second to Edict of Nantes in the Daily News 2000. El Sahim takes the bull by the horns and he stretches away by 2 lengths from the stable companion Safe Harbor. Safe Harbor for Christopher Neckirk and the Smiths, bred by the Antrobus, the daughter of Elusive Fort. Of course, she ran third in the Willabington, 1.6 lengths behind Lady of the House, and this is a horse who will come in with 52 kilograms. El Sahim joint at the top of the boards with Edict of Nantes. They're trading at 4-1, and Samanga Kamalo, he'll be looking to add El Sahim, the son of Silvano, and these silks will be carried to the big race day. Coming to the last 500 meters or so, El Sahim is on the left-hand side, just being clicked at, and Safe Harbor travelling very well on the stand side. There you can see the filly Safe Harbor. She's moved up alongside El Sahim. El Sahim just got those boots on the inside. Those are the overreach boots just to keep everything intact, and that's the workout.
Well, wonderful to get that gallop from Gauteng, Kevin, and the protective overreach boots. Sean Terry does a lot of that. You don't want to grab a quarter and suddenly you can't run in a race like this because the sensitivity comes. But looking at that, both look alive.
Very much so, Lef. What we've seen today now, I think those two horses really looked. Safe Harbor, I thought, really worked well. El Sahim, we know how good he is. He's been prepared for this race. I think he's a huge runner. He deserves to be second or third favourite, what he is. But Safe Harbor, I think I haven't even looked at the price. I think you could be getting good.
Yeah, you can check it up. Then we'll
good,
come back to
good
them.
value for money. Yeah.
Good value. Kev, just as El Sahim Derby winner, once a Gallop, like Pagoda, so they've got to make sure there's a pace. But out on the track is a beautiful horse. Now, Elusive Silva has always been a striking horse, and Ken true to his colours. And here's the fact file, and it's owned by some big players from down that neck of the woods. It was nice to see Paul Looms come up to the Gallop, but Ken and Jane Truter, and of course the Bower and Braum with them, Looms. This is a decent horse. He had a lot of time off because he hurt himself. He came back and won a very good race. Fluffed his line slightly in the 1900, but bounced right back in the Cup trial. And he's going on the track now, Kevin, a good-looking individual.
Absolutely magnificent. But let's watch him. He's going to jump away now. Let's just go up to Sheldon.
Next up is Elusive Silva, starting off very quietly, and he'll just be steadied as he jumps from his marker. Just a reminder that the Vodacom Durban July race cards are on sale at around 35 Rand from the shop. So if you are on course this morning, get those race cards. They are available at the shop. So the Vodacom Durban July race cards are now available. Get them from the shop as we look at Elusive Silva, the son of Silvano, for a host of connections. And this son of Silvano will be looking for his 6th career victory. He'll jump from stallgate 15 for the Justin Snaith team, and Richard Ferree, who rode him last time out in the Cup trial in a breathtaking finish when he beat Crowd Pleaser. Coming to the top of the lane, 400 metres to go, Elusive Silva, 3 runs back. When he turned it on in the Sledgehammer, he left them in the dust, beating Helderberg Blue. He's run in the 1900. Things did not map out for him, and he showed his well-being with a breathtaking performance, beating Crowd Pleaser. If you like Elusive Silva, he's a horse who's also found good money support, and a horse who's going to be very alive. At around 10-1, Elusive Silva, he's a flashy chestnut and just gets geared down those last couple of strides as he comes down to the winning post. And he's a horse who comes on leaps and bounds. He's had the 3 runs at Greyville, and that'll stand him in good stead. Having a look into the camera, the Elusive Silva coming to the last 300 metres. There is some 10-1 available about Elusive Silva, 9-1 and 10-1 Elusive Silva, from an opening call of around 40 and 45-1. Elusive Silva has found the anti-post support, and this chestnut coming to the winning post just gets geared down. 800 to finish, 49.87, and the 400 to finish, 23.87. As we watch Elusive Silva go through his paces, that 400 to finish, 23.87, and just going back to Pagoda, 800 to finish, 49.74, and the 400 to finish for Pagoda, 23.77, 23.77 for Pagoda. Down to Paul.
Thanks very much, Sheldon. Well, Kevin, a very impressive horse, worked very nicely. Just before we touch on him, Safe Harbor, any money you were looking at the betting? 20 to 1?
20 to 1 Safe Harbor after watching that gallop. I think
Could be takers.
a little bit of 20 to 1 is nothing wrong. And the bookmakers at the moment, you know, anti-post now that things are happening, they might get a bit of 22 to 1. You know, some guy might have a little bit extra of it. He might even get a bit of 25 to 1 in a double or something going into it. So on that kind of work, Lef, has got to be respected. There's a couple of horses that have stood up here.
Elusive Silva, I was very impressed.
Yeah, no, Elusive Silva, you want a horse to look like that when it's running in the July. Left, really moving well. What must I say? The Justin Snaith horses, they know how to get them ready for the big day. They've got a lot of them in the race, so they've got to line them up, and it's nice. You've got 4 or 5 in the race.
It seems to be the trend at the moment. If one looks at the Epsom Derby, I think 3 trainers dominated. Half the field are coming from Snaith and Terry here.
Yeah, that is how powerful they are at the moment, but there's nothing wrong with that, you know, as they say in the classics, if you can get one in, it keeps another one out, so it gives yourself a chance.
I haven't read that classic comment before, but it's a wonderful statement. Right. Yes, Kev, Cantor from the 400, he won a 2-4 on Sunday. Let's go up the commentator.
Looking at Mr. Winsome, fresh out the Track and Ball Derby victory, beating Sun on Africa, so he's not going to be required to do much here. Head into the chest for Mr. Winsome. As you know, they've got to come to Gravel, they've got to show their well-being, and Mr. Winsome, he'll be as fit as a fiddle. He'll come to the big race day. He races for the Meekers, the Wrestles, Zydels and the Dickersons, a horse who is a son of Silvano from a 10 draw. Warren Kennedy for Dean Cannemeyer, and of course Dean Cannemeyer needs no introduction. The Dynasties, the Eye of the Tigers, and of course Power King. So Dean Cannemeyer is certainly the top of his game, and if you like Mr. Winsome, he'll carry 53.5 kilograms, just a nice easy canter from the 400 on the poly, just to say I'm here. And Mr. Winsome, you win some, you lose some, maybe Mr. Winsome, the order of the day on the big race day. He'll be number 14, the son of Silvano, Warren Kennedy for Dean Cannemeyer, and just taking an easy canter on the poly. He's just going through his stride this morning just to stretch his legs and show that he's all in good nick. That's Mr. Winsome, and he takes his 400-meter workout in his stride. Nothing asked of him, but he's come through with flying colours just to show his well-being. We'll take a look at that head-on of Mr. Winsome, and there you'll see head into the chest, the coat's looking good, he's in a good place, and after his victory beating Sun on Africa, he gets his chance to shine in the sun on Vodacom Durban July Day. Mr. Winsome, some 16 to 1 available, down to Paul.
Right, Kev, a horse who ran a cracker in the 1900, coming from a long way back, won the Derby, qualified for this race. Nice to see the Meekers and partners getting themselves a horse, and the Meekers, as you know, have had 5-6 decades of top horses, so it's wonderful for them. But just before we talk about this, I believe Brett Crawford is down with Warren Lenferner.
Thank you, Paul. Yes, indeed. Edict of Nantes is the fancy of many punters out there. And Brett, this horse looked in a picture of health this morning. What were your thoughts on Edict of Nantes' gallop?
Warren not very happy with the way he worked. You know, we eased him up. We worked from the top of the straight and we pulled him up slowly. So don't read too much into how he came across the line. But he's a fit horse. He recovered exceptionally well. He's moving very well, and I'm very happy.
Brett, your feedback is most appreciated, and we thank you for everything.
My pleasure.
There we go. That's Brett Crawford with regards to Edict of Nantes. There we go. He's answered the question that many people wanted to know. Don't read too much into the fact that Anton eased him up well before the line, but the horse looks well, all on song for the Brett Crawford stable. Let's go back to Paul.
Mr. Winsome.
Yeah, Lef, the conditions of the race is that you have to bring the horse to the Gallops to show him. And he's had a hard campaign, but looking at it, Lef, he's taken that run on Sunday. Well, it's a win. Dean's got him in perfect tip-top.
Dean's a great conditioner.
Tip-top condition left. That horse really, you would never say the horse went 2-4 on Sunday. He really put his head in his chest. That's all he was needed to do. Left a little canter 400 meters. So the time's going to mean nothing to us. We're not worried about the time. But the horse in himself, when you look at him, really looks well. And it's so great. It's so good for the Meeker family to be and their friends to be back into the big stuff, because they have been great stalwarts of the racing game.
Nice for Warren Kennedy as well. Warren Kennedy has really turned his career around. He's riding exceptionally well.
Yeah, he's under pressure with this one because his girlfriend Barbara works for Dean as well, so they'll be sleeping in separate rooms the night before. Dean says he's going to leave Barbara to give them instructions.
Yeah, that's right.
And if he doesn't listen, he's in trouble.
Well, there we go. Nice to see the fashions, and they're going to be glorious fashions this year, and wonderfully turned out. I can see the people are down there filming them and interviewing the guys who made these outfits. And the one guy, what do you think of the guy in the middle, Kev? Pretty loud, that outfit. Does it come with volume control?
I don't know. It looks like he's going mining with a mining hat on.
Yeah,
but this is the fashion left.
This
is what it's all about. It's fantastic to see these people making the effort and coming down here on a little bit of
making the outfits.
The outfits. You need a lot of material to make some of those. But anyway, fantastic to see it. It's a good theme, and well done to Gold Circle and everybody concerned. You know, they do make a big effort for this this great day in the first Saturday in July.
Yeah, that's right. The Vodacom Durban July is wonderful. But I believe the emergency acceptor Horizon is going to be coming out on the track. And Kev, a lot of people said a little unlucky not to get into the race, but that's for another day. A very good horse in his own right, the third in the Group 1. He's a Group 3 winner. He ran third in the Daily News behind the favourite and second favourite. And he's going down the back with a companion. And, you know, he was bought, there he is, he's owned by Hunky Dory Investments 15. They're in the wildlife game, they buy and sell wildlife, and they came and got involved with racing, and they put their money where their mouths were, and Mark Bass bought them 2 horses, and both the group winners, and so a wonderful job by Mark Bass. Walter knows his stuff, and this has got 53. If it came into the race, it would have a few people thinking about it, Kev.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a very, very expensive yearling. He's come to the party. He showed that he has got the ability. He was a little bit stiff not to get in, but, you know, they can only get 18 runners. I think that's it. But you'll have a look at him too. In flesh, he's a magnificent looking animal. You must just see him. You can just see he's got class written all over him. The races, you've got to prepare these horses left like they are running in the race. So it's one of those things. Only until next week, Wednesday or Thursday, you can make your decision. But,
you know, a horse like us, Kev, getting into the race, if this horse had to pull off the Vodacom Durban July, the investment wouldn't be that much anymore, because he'd be a stallion and he'd be going off to stud here. We've seen Vodacom Durban July winners going off to stud, and it could end up being a very shrewd investment by Mark and Vihan and the whole team behind the Sakuda.
He's a Silvano, isn't he, left? Yeah, he's a Silvano, yeah.
You know, he was favourite in the derby that Frankie Dettori won.
Yeah, he let me down that day.
With Edict of Nantes. And I don't know if the pace beat him, but it wasn't himself. But he has shown in his last run, it was a cracker in the Daily News at this track, that he's a serious racehorse.
No, he is a serious racehorse. Like you say, his investment will be nothing if he wins in July. I still think his investment is still involved. He's a very good horse, and I'm sure the Group 1s are going to be flowing as he gets a little bit older.
He's got a lot of quality. Let's go down there. I believe Dean Kannemeyer is with Warren.
Thank you, Paul. Yes, indeed. We've just seen Mr. Winsome 400 on the poly canter. Dean, horse looks exceptionally well. Your thoughts?
Yeah, he took his run very well in the Derby, you know, and he's a sound horse, and he couldn't do more than win the Derby. I was very impressed with his running the Gravel 1900. That made us decide, let's have a tonk at the Durban July. You know, I remember running horse Power King in the Gravel 1900, came from last just to get beaten, came in the 53.5 and ended up winning the July. So he came to that run, he weaved his way through, and that was good in the Derby. That's all, you know, you couldn't ask him to do more. And he pulled up sound, which is very good, and he's taken his run well. He saw him this morning and just canted him 400, just keep his muscles moving. July, tough race. No race is easy, but I'm happy with the 10 draw. He has got a hell of a turn of foot. He's a Silvano. He's improving. I think he's a better horse now than he was a couple of months ago. So we'll take our chances, but he's come through his preparation very well.
Dean, thank you for your feedback.
Thank you.
There we go. Let's go back to Paul and Kevin. Nice to chat to Dean Kannemeyer. He knows how to win the Vodacom Durban July. And let's go back to Paul and Kevin.
Well, there we go. We're back on Horizon, Kev, and in those silks, and looks like Elder could be on him.
Yeah,
absolutely. He's, as I said, we've touched on his quality, and he's got a lot of that.
Look at those hindquarters left. There's a lot of power there pushing there. Let's go up to Sheldon. They've jumped away.
Moving on to Horizon, he's number 19, the first reserve runner, Stallgate 18 for the Robinson stable. This is the son of Dynasty for the Hunky Dory Investments, bred by the Main Chance Farms. His record reads 9 runs, 3 wins and 3 places. Of course, the Daily News run over the 2,000 metre trip, he was third behind Edict of Nantes. And of course, back in second was Sahim, so Horizon on that third. He'll be the first reserve runner. He was only 3.5 lengths behind Edict of Nantes and Sahim, and they are the joint favourites. So if he does get a chance, he's a horse who could certainly rise to the occasion. He's a son of Dynasty, and we all know about Dynasty. He won in 2003 with Robbie Frad aboard for the Dean Cannemeyer stable, beating horses like Yard Arm and Red Badge. So Dynasty, the sire, he's been here, he's done it, and if it's time for Horizon to get in, he's a horse that you've got to give serious consideration to. Elder de Meyer taking him through his paces. I believe he's working with Live Life, and they'll turn for home with just on 400 metres to go. Horizon comes to the outside, and you'll see the stable companion just in the slipstream as they're homeward bound, 400 to go. Horizon races in those dark green and khaki check diamonds, a horse who was purchased, and he's come to the course, and thus far he's done well for the connections. Horizon just being kept together, he's on the bridle. Live Life to the stand side, looks to move around and come alongside, but there's 3 parts of a length in it coming to the last 100 metres. Horizon just being kept together short of the winning post, and Horizon comes to the post ahead of Live Life. That's their workout. First reserve runner at number 19, drawn 18. If Horizon gets a run, 53 kilograms on the back. There's the slow-mo coming to the last 200 meters, and another horse who's very athletic. You can see by his hindquarters he's built with power, and certainly power-packed coming to the last 200 meters. When those engines kick in, the power's certainly there. A horse who's got lots of abilities, only a 3-year-old, and we'll possibly see the best of him only as a late 4-year-old. He's a horse who's going to develop, he's going to mature, and a horse with a bright future ahead of him, Horizon. Just looking at that 800 to finish, 91.68, 91.68, and then the 400 to finish, 23.69. 23.69, that is the 400 to finish for Horizon as we go down to Paul.
And you change his legs there.
Well, there we go. This was another exciting gallop in the sense that he really floats this horse, Kev.
Yeah, Laf, you just have to see him from the head on and from side, and his action, he is so correct. It's quite scary to see a horse that moves that well.
Yeah.
But really, I thought he worked well, and if there is a scratching, I'm sure Candace will be very happy.
Yeah, it would be, I think he would come right into the race, this horse. Galloping weight, beautiful mover, and it looks like he's with the best horses, Kev. They give them a bit of a time to find themselves.
Absolutely, that's what they do. They don't jump on them early as 2-year-olds. There's always a little bit to come for the later, and by the time you get to these big races now, they're spot on.
All right, we've got one gallop left to go, and they're out on the track. This is Nebula, who's going to be working with a very good 2-year-old who placed in the Group 1 gold medallion called El Mariachi. So Nebula, here's the fact file on Nebula, 53 kilograms who gets into the race, and international owner, which is good to see, and Wilgeborgsdrift, very good breeders, Kev.
Yeah, absolutely, Lef. That's Mary. She does her homework. She's got some lovely stallions. She's got some lovely horses, and yeah, Nebula. I think Brett was a little bit disappointed the horse never got in, but he just hadn't come to the party at the right time.
Yeah,
but
the form suggests he just wasn't there yet.
Just hadn't come there. Quite a few of the horses fluffed their lines in the prep races, and he was one of them. Unfortunately, it was that one day. I thought a lot of horses ran badly, and yeah, unfortunately, he's not in the race. He's a reserve number 2, but I know for a fact that Brett really rates this horse highly, and he thinks he's a serious horse. So you got to keep. They're going onto the grass now. You got to keep him. I think it looks like Bernard on him. Yeah, you got to keep training him like he's going to win. But anyway, they're jumping away. Let's go. This is our last gallop. Let's go up to Sheldon.
Last gallop of the morning, we're going to see the second reserve runner, Nebula, son of Silvano, for Edmund Sew, bred by Wilgeborgsdrift from the Brett Crawford stable. He's drawn at 2 if he gets a run. Nebula heads slightly down into the chest, and the stable companion El Mariachi is racing a little bit free behind him, and Nebula just going nice, cool, calm and collected. Bernard Faderb in the driving seat has the lead by a length and a quarter from El Mariachi, and I believe Cornet Orfers taking this runner through his paces, and he's the horse who's going to come to the right-hand side. Nebula, he's a 4-time winning individual from his 16 runs to date. He's won just over 450,000 Rand in stakes as they come to the last 300 metres. Nebula not being asked to do much on the left as El Mariachi joins issue coming to the last 200 metres. Taken through their strides, and this is the last gallop of the morning. So well done to all the participants. They've come, they've shown their well-being, and the next week and a half up to the gods, and let's see what happens on the big race day. A little bit of luck in the running, and one of these trainers, jockeys and owners, they'll be celebrating right through the night as they'll be victors of the Vodacom Durban July. Just another reminder that the fever and excitement is building. We got that guaranteed 10 million Rand pick 6, the 2 million Rand carryover, the quartet of 13 million Rand in the Vodacom Durban July, and we also got the 6 places that will be paid out on the tote. So plenty of betting activity, and the next 10 days or so as we build up towards the big race day, plenty of action. The betting feast, the frenzy will commence, and of course we got the panel discussion. So if you are on course, don't run away. We got that panel discussion in about 30 minutes or so, so stand by. There's the head-on shot. Nebula's on the left-hand side, reserve 2. El Mariachi's on the right, coming down to the last 100 metres. The runners have come to Greyville this morning. They've shown their well-being, and if you've joined us this morning, I hope you've enjoyed the coverage. And if you're a racing enthusiast, you'll be building to the bit. You'll be chomping at the bit, as they say, as we hand you down to Paul.
Right, Kev, let's go over to Warren first. He's got Justin Snaith, who's got a very strong hand.
Yep.
Thanks, Paul. Just managed to get hold of Justin Snaith, interrupted his breakfast. Thanks for your time, Justin. Let's go through all your runners. They've all galloped. Let's start off with Master Sabina.
Yes, look, he's a 7-year-old. He doesn't need to be shown a course at his age. So he just went for an easy gallop. I thought he galloped very well. He's got a good weight and probably the only good draw I pulled on the day. So you never know. He's a dual Summer Cup winner with 57.5. He's got to have some sort of chance.
Then we move on to Cram Bambuli.
Doing well. His last 2 starts he's won in easy fashion. I don't think he has even been ridden out. So if it goes down to a staying race and there's a hot pace and a rough race and a lot of horses get bumped on the inside fence, I wouldn't be surprised to see a horse like this run a decent race.
It's My Turn is your 3rd runner.
He's just coming right at the right time. We've stayed out of races the whole season because we know if we probably brought him out, he could win and get the penalties, some more penalties. So we just have kept him at home and make sure he's ready on the day. He's certainly a horse that they're going to have to watch out, especially with Pierce Straden on.
A horse that looked exceptionally well. All your horses looked well, but one that stood out for me was Black Arthur, and I thought he really strode well.
Yeah, look, he looks like Kevin Shea in the change rooms. You know, he looks super well, and he's a horse that we said if he gets in, he'll be with one of the horses to beat. He's got an 8 draw, comes into a 7, Grand Finicak. You know, he's going to be in the finish. I can tell you right now, this is one of the horses they'll be chasing home.
And the last of your runners, Elusive Silva.
Big thing for him is the distance, 2-2. He gets every bit of. He's got 53 on his back. It's the biggest asset. Besides the 3-year-olds, which I think are absolutely slung in this year, with 53.5 and 54, I think we'll all be chasing the 3-year-olds home. Normally 3-year-olds carry 57. Bella last year carried 55. She carried more than the 3-year-old colts this year. So it just gives you an idea of how well the 3-year-olds are in. I think we'll be chasing them home. And if any 4-year-olds or older horse is going to beat them, I think it'll be one of mine. So I'm quite bullish. I haven't come with maybe the super champions, but I've come with horses that are well weighted, they're tough, and they'll be ready next Saturday.
Justin, you've got 5 runners and 5 chances. All the very best to you, and thank you for your feedback.
Great, thank you very much.
There we go. That's Justin Snaith. All 5 runners. We got a comment from him on all 5 runners, and at least we know that one of his horses looked like Kevin Shea in the change room. So that's a good idea. Let's go up to Paul. Kev, they say the horse looks as good as you in the change room. Let's hear what you have to say.
Right, thanks very much to Justin Snaith. Wonderful the feedback that Warren has got from the leading trainers, riders. It's been excellent getting their feedback, especially after their work, Kim. I think it's a great innovation.
Yeah, Lef, one thing about Justin, he's very transparent and he lets the public know, which is fantastic. We've seen it. We've just had a good look at the gallops now, Lef, and we just look now, the pace. Is there going to be a pace like Justin says he'd like a true run race in it?
Where's he going to get it from?
Where's it going to come from? Just looking at the field, I would think a horse like the Conglomerate would be up there. He likes to race up there. Other than that, nothing else looks like it's going to actually sacrifice itself or one of the stable companions to make a true run race. So a horse like all of a sudden Brazooka comes into the... If they go slow to the 800 meter and start picking it, those horses that just don't see the two out.
The horses who want the stamina haven't probably got the acceleration, the kick, hallmark of a good horse. But you're 100% right. I think the key that Kevin has touched on here is who is going to make the pace in this big race. The two he mentioned look like the likely horses to do it, the likely candidates. One has to consider, if you run your BDR over this field, you're going to see that a lot of them have to be held up. A lot of them want a pace, they've got to be held up, and Kev, therein lies the dilemma.
Yeah, that's where the true distance comes out left, but it's the July, from the 2-2 to the mile is carnage, as we all know. Everybody's...
As far as that, 600 meters?
That back stretch to the mile is absolute carnage, and that becomes the first turn. If you're not completely in a gap or you're not clear of a gap, the guys are going to chop you off without even thinking about it. They're prepared to take their 1 week suspension to get a good position, one off the fence or maybe even on the fence. If a guy's on the fence and he's not completely in the gap, he'll get shut off, and then the guys will settle down. From the mile to the 1200, you see the guys mostly get themselves in a nice position.
And that's when you're in the bus relaxed.
That's when you're in the bus relaxed and left. That's when I think they're going to ease it up a little bit. From the mile down to the 1200 or to the 800, it's going to be all eased up, and then the race starts again. The guys from the outside will realize they're a bit too far back. They want to get handier. They start pulling out. When they start coming on the outside, horses on the inside start going with them as well to keep them out. They're not just going to let the guy get around them and get an easy lead. So it is a tactical race, Lef. It's one of those things that it's the way it happens. It's a new gravel track now that's tight now down the back stretch. So you draw an 18, you're right on the outside fence. And you've got to get out those gates. I mean, a guy like
let me just say, you've ridden in this race many times. A guy like Striker Stratum is a superb rider now. How would you, if you were to give him instructions, where would you tell him to put his my turn?
Yeah, Lef, I wouldn't really hold him to anything, and I'm sure Justin wouldn't do it as well, but he would put the horse in the right position at the pace they're going. Yes. If they're going very slow, you'll see Striker will sneak up on the outside and get a little bit handier. One off, try and get a horse in front of him, giving him a lead. If they're going 100 miles an hour, it's perfect. You just drop him in behind. You'll see they'll be racing in pairs then, 2, hopefully. Maybe 1 or 2, 3 wide. But by the time they get to the 800, 600, you're going to see the guys that are at the back start making early moves, and the guys that are in front of them go with them as well. So it becomes a big bunch. You're going to see them right across the track. I don't know if haven't seen how far the false rail is going to be out. I don't know. You would know as a director. Maybe a meter or two.
No, it's going to be 2-3 meters.
Yeah, 2 meters. So
they don't want it too much so that you throw everything to the outside.
No.
So I know they've had a big committee meeting with the track managers, with the racing committee, where they're going to have their rail. It will be published in all publications, but it's a very valid point, Kev.
Yeah, they will be. I still say they will be right across the track. There's one thing about the July. Yes. You want to give yourself a clear run, and they'll be right across the track. It's going to be exciting. We've seen some good gallops today. There's some nice. This is the best we've got in South Africa at the moment on offer. And let's let them all line up together, and let's see who's the Vodacom Durban July winner. 9 days' time.
Kevin, thanks once again for valuable input. Kevin, a champion rider in his time, and we'd like to, of course, thank the commentators, Warren Linfern at the back. There's going to be a panel discussion in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, right in front of the grandstand, where people are going to give their opinions of what they saw today and maybe touch on the runners' chances in the big day. Well, from us here, we'll see you in about 20 minutes.
Remember the magic? Heavy metal. Legislate. Power King. The Conglomerate. Who will make the magic in 2017? What colors your magic?